Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Alan Simberg, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you could decide if you want to enter recovery, because obviously sometimes people are not so sure about whether they want to be in recovery. So I'm going to talk about how you can decide if you want to be in recovery, and once you make that commitment, how you can turn that commitment into reasonably consistent recovery on your journey. If you find this information helpful, I would appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel, and even make a few comments. And also ask me questions in your comments. Let me know what you want to know, not necessarily only about this particular topic. So, how do you decide if you want to enter recovery? Well, I think the most useful way to do that would be if you think about all that you've been going through, and in a sense, if you're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired, maybe it's time for you to give serious consideration to entering recovery. Now, you may have some concerns, you may have some questions, but one of the things that's important for you to know is although there is some similarity for everyone who's in recovery, everyone's recovery has some very different aspects to it because obviously everyone's an individual. So you may have to plan and identify how exactly you want to manage your recovery so that it can go on in the most consistent way. And of course, this is not something that you decide all at once. This is something that you decide over time based on your experiences and then based on what else you would like to have in your experience during your recovery journey. So once you come to the decision that you want to be in recovery, how do you turn that commitment into something that I call lasting action? And the major point, and probably one of the most, if not the most important points about that, is to avoid making big changes right away, maybe a number of big changes, and wanting to get everything done all at once. Like from one day to the next, you're in recovery and everything's great. And this is where I talk about micro habits or small habits. Decide what your steps are, the first few steps, and prioritize. So, for example, one thing you might consider is recognizing and accepting that being in recovery alone doesn't usually work. In the long term, especially, it doesn't work. And that to have the most consistently successful recovery experience, it's important to have support. So, for example, start attending 12-step programs or smart recovery programs. And don't be disappointed if when you attend your first meeting, you think it's not for you. Oh, this was terrible. Because one of the things about attending more than one meeting in different locations is to find the meeting that you resonate with the most and give yourself a chance to get a sense of what the meeting's about. Do your best not to make any decisions based on the first meeting that you attend. And after you find the meeting that you feel comfortable with, consider finding a temporary sponsor. Temporary sponsors, for those of you who may not know what that actually is a person that you get to determine if you would feel comfortable receiving that person's support, and that person decides if they would feel comfortable helping you during your recovery journey. And do your best to have an open mind. It might be difficult to accept certain comments that that person makes to you, but do your best to consider that maybe what that person's saying does have the potential to help you. If for some reason you don't want to start by attending any meetings, identify someone that you trust, someone that you know who truly cares about you. Let that person know that you've decided to begin your recovery and see how much that person can support you. So in my next video, the thing I'm going to be talking about is, so once you actually decide to begin your recovery journey, and you do begin it, well, then what's next? What do you need to know? What are those first 30 days going to be like? Potentially, it'll be different for different people, but generally, most people do have certain experiences that are similar. And I want to encourage you never, ever to give up. You may have certain challenges, but don't ever, ever give up on your recovery. Certain times may be more difficult than others. Find ways to manage the difficulty and challenge you might be experiencing at any point in time. And even have a plan on how or when you're going to continue that recovery journey the way you were before you were managing those challenges.